What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be reviewing Final Fantasy III. To most of the world, we all know this game now as Final Fantasy VI, but back in 1994, due to numbering and we didn't get a whole bunch of Final Fantasies that came out in Japan, we got this released as Final Fantasy III for the Super Nintendo. Now, this game is the game that comes before Final Fantasy VII, which everyone always says is one of the greatest Final Fantasies and greatest RPGs of all time. Well, I've had some friends that told me this game beats it, if not is on par with Final Fantasy VII, so I had to check it out. Now, in Final Fantasy 3/6, I really don't know what I should be calling this. Basically, there's an evil guy named Kefka. He's trying to destroy the world and or take over the world, and it's up to you and your party of people to stop him. Now, throughout the game, it's very interesting, and in certain parts of the game, I really liked it because they had like branching stories where you would finish like one section, and then you got to choose what group of characters you wanted to play as next, which was really, really cool, and you got to basically play the story at your own pace. Now, I put over 40 hours into this game, and that's only because I could not beat the final boss, so I had to go back and level up like most RPGs due to my luck. I got to the final dungeon at about 32 hours, and pretty much just had to keep going back and re-leveling up and getting better, and finally, after getting past the second stage of the final boss, and there's like 4 stages, I was able to finish off the other forms. It was that second form that was killing me. Now, the story of this game is very in-depth, it's very intense. It's, you know, an old school RPG, so what that means is pretty much you have to read all the text dialogue, you have to figure out what's going on, there's no voice acting. The music is beautiful though. Pretty much one of the main plot points of this story is this girl, Terra, who is like half an Esper because one of her parents was an Esper, and that's like a mythical, magical creature, which, I mean, later on we know them as summons in like Final Fantasy VII and 10 and all that. And her father wasn't an Esper, or vice versa. She's like the main person that can basically stop Kefka, because it's her people that you need the help from to finish off him and stop him from taking over the world. Now, for a Super Nintendo game, this is a pretty long game. And it's fun, it's challenging, it has a turn-based battle system, which is like really timing based, because you have to fill up a meter in order to be able to attack, and sometimes that meter fills up slower than basically what your opponents would be. So I found myself struggling at points because I couldn't even get one attack in before they were hitting me with like 3 or 4 of them. And before leveling up, I would basically keep dying. I would have to keep restarting. But one of the cool things is when you die, it's really not a game over. You basically just respawn at the last save point, but you won't have your gold or your equipment or anything like equipped properly if you've changed it since your last save. However, your experience points and your leveling stays the same. So even if you die and you gain levels before dying, you won't have to regain those levels, which is really cool. It really helps in the process of leveling up. Overall, I think this was a great game. It was the last Final Fantasy game released on a Nintendo home console, I believe, until Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles on the GameCube. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do I think this is better than Final Fantasy VII? Personally, I enjoyed 7 a lot more. But then again, I grew up with the PlayStation 1. I loved the PlayStation 1. I love PS1 RPGs, but the Super Nintendo was home of a lot of Square's RPGs. And this game, while a fantastic game, while the music is great, while the gameplay is great, while the story is great, is very challenging. At least to me it was, because they, I guess, handled things a lot differently than the way Final Fantasy that I'm used to from playing later games has become. This game is challenging, this game is tough, but by no means does it make it a bad game. Every character in this story has their own reasoning and story as to why they're doing what they're doing in this quest to stop Kefka, and you get to learn a lot about their histories, their backstories, their cutscenes that they give with different parts of the story. The game is divided up into 2 parts, the Land of Balance and the Land of Ruin. And basically the Land of Balance is pretty much the world as you know it in the beginning of the game before Kefka starts to take over and starts kind of obliterating everyone. And the Land of Ruin is the aftermath, and that's the second half of the game. I would definitely say if you can pick this one up, check it out. I picked this up for about $40. It's definitely a game that's going to keep you challenged. It's going to keep you wanting to play. I know I've been on the final boss for about a week now, and I finally had to revitalize my strategy, reanalyze things, went back to it, and I beat it today. And I'm very happy that I could finally put this game on the shelf. And I didn't give up on it. Like I said, it's a challenging game. It's a good game. You can get it for a decent price. I would definitely say check this one out, guys. That's Final Fantasy III, Final Fantasy VI, for a lot of other people and a lot of the re-releases. If you've played it, leave your comments below what you thought of this game. Is this your favorite Final Fantasy game, or do you think something else is better than it? Leave that all in the comments below. That's my review. As always, guys, thank you for watching. You have a great day.